Hurry on, this is Radhe and Rishi, and we're here to do a 30-minute yoga session. We've been customarily doing about an hour a day together, so today, just for the filming, we'll do 30 minutes or so. So we start by sitting, so any comfortable position, spine nice and tall, and close the eyes gently. Whole body sitting still and becoming more steady as you sit. Feel the breath coming in through the two nostrils, flowing down to fill the lungs, abdomen expanding, chest expanding. As you breathe out, feel the breath going back out the opposite way through the nostrils, chest drawing in gently, abdomen drawing in, relaxing on the out breath. Keep watching the breath. If it's not settled when you first sit down, let it become settled in its own time. No controlling of it. Simply watch. Expansion on the in-breath, abdomen and chest. Relaxation inwards on the out-breath, chest and abdomen. Whole body becoming as steady as a rock. When you next breathe out, let go of watching the breath. Feel the whole body sitting relaxed and steady, and gently open the eyes. And we'll start off with some very simple Paramahamsa part 1 for the joints. So we'll do stretching for the hands and wrists. So taking the arms out to the front, legs in any comfortable position, and then breathing in, take the hands up towards you, pushing the heel of the hands away, stretching into the hands, and then breathing out, hands dropping, stretching the top of the wrists, and do another 4 of those, working into the arms as well, because they have to be strong and reasonably straight for you to do this in your own time. Doesn't have to be exactly 5, but somewhere thereabouts. And relax the arms when you're finished. And because of the angle of the camera, you won't be able to see us doing that with the feet, but we're going to do that with the feet for stretching out the legs and working the ankles and feet. So legs out in front. And you can either lean back on the hands gently, or you can have the hands lightly on the floor alongside the hips. And then breathing in, draw the feet towards you, push the heels away. And as you breathe out, point the toes towards the floor, stretching the top of the feet and ankles. Another 4. And when you have finished the last one, just let the feet be relaxed, gently pointed forward perhaps, but not strongly. And feel through the feet, legs, hands and arms, a little bit of energy running through there. And we're going to come up to standing now, so gently coming up. And as you're standing, just stand with the feet either a little bit apart or touching if you like standing that way. So feet can be ideally, of course, parallel, but they can be a small distance apart. Standing tall through the spine, top of the head extended up towards the ceiling. Close the eyes for a moment and just get the feeling of the length through the body, through the spine. And we're going to do Tadasana, as it's called in our yoga system, heavenly stretch pose. So we're going to be stretching onto tiptoes and extending the arms up towards the ceiling, turning the interlocked hands so the palms head towards the ceiling. So opening the eyes, interlock the hands in front of you with the backs of the hands facing down. As you breathe in, start to move the hands up. Look at a steady point the whole time. Turn the palms, you're coming onto the toes as well if you can, or perhaps just the balls of the feet. As you breathe out, slowly coming down, still looking at a steady point ahead. Another 4 of those in your own time. And relax the arms alongside the body when you've finished. And there is a side bending version of that, which is sometimes done on tiptoes, but we will do it with feet flat. So standing with the feet more than hip width apart, but they don't have to be super far apart, just far enough to have a good steady stance and be able to stretch each side. Feet parallel, toes turned in slightly. Hands interlock like they were before. Breathing in, moving hands up, but keep the feet flat. Breathing out, lean to one side, getting a good stretch in the other side of the body, chin into the armpit. Breathing into the centre, out, lean to the other side, and 2 more to each side. And of course, relaxing the arms down and back to the sides. You can keep the feet apart. Just take a few moments to watch the breath for several relaxed breaths. And we're going to be swinging, doing Kati Chakrasana, or the waist rotating pose. This is good for the spine as well as the waist. So we're going to be loosening up the vertebrae and twist. Arms go out to the sides. And you can see from how Rishi is standing that you're having them shoulder height, stretched to the fingertips. When you twist, they're going to bend and flop around the body. Breathing in first and then breathe out. Twist to one side. One hand goes across the front to the shoulder, other arm behind on the back of the body. Into the centre, out, twist the other way. You'll find that the back knee probably has to bend. Keep going, another 4 each way. Make sure you're only turning the head gently unless the neck feels nice and loose. Relax the breath and relax the body even though you're still standing. And now we're going to do a few rounds of salute to the sun. And I'll start in prayer pose with you, but I will be talking you through all the other poses when we do begin. So positioning yourself generally right at the front of your mat, and with me I'll stand back a bit so that we can be in the camera. And Rishi, you might want to go side on so that you've got room to do it on your mat. Hands in prayer pose, close the eyes for a while. This gives you a chance to settle if you are a little bit stirred up after doing the Kari Chakrasana. Imagine that the breath is going in through the sternum in a straight line to the spine at the cardiac plexus, the Anahata chakra, and then back out through the sternum. Eyes gently closed throughout, just letting the body gradually steady. Keep watching that breath, heart center breath. And then gently letting go of that breath, although you could stay there longer if you needed to. Feel the body open, the eyes ready to go into position 2. So breathing in, stretching up, arching back, 2. Out, forward bend, 3. In with the right foot going back into the lunge, 4. Out, other foot back into mountain, 5. Go down with the knees, chest, chin, 6. Breathe in into cobra, 7. Out, back into mountain, 8. In, other foot forward, 9. Out, the other foot up, 10. Standing forward, bend in, coming up, stretching up, arching back, 11. Out, prayer pose, 12. Repeat that for the other lunge, and that will make 1 round. And then do 2 more rounds in your own time. And everyone's got slightly different versions that they know of Salute to the Sun. Feel free to be doing your own version. Sometimes people do a plank instead of one of the mountains or dog down stretches, or perhaps instead of going into knees, chest, chin down, you might just do a cat. Whatever is suitable for you or whatever you are used to doing. Keeping it flowing with the breath. If you're new to it, then it's a good idea to look it up online and just see some of the different versions, and gradually you're going to get used to how it goes and the flow with the breath. But when you're first learning, sometimes you have to take extra breaths, or you're not quite sure what breath you're up to, whether it's in or out, or which lunge you're up to. I want to do approximately the same number of lunges on each side. And once you finish, just hands in prayer position for a little while, watching the breath there. And I will get you to lie down in a moment. But just for a little while you're settling after doing it. Hands in prayer pose, eyes closed. And then gently lying down in Shavasana, that's lying on the back, feet flopped apart, palms turned up, fingers gently curved, and the whole body just gradually flopping into the floor. And you'll find that your breath takes even 2.5 to 3 minutes to return to normal, even if you've only done one round or even half a round with both lunges in the half round. You will find it does take time for the breath to gradually slow down. So Rishi's in Shavasana, feet flopped apart, out to the sides, legs not touching each other, arms not touching the sides. If you want to, you can join thumb and forefinger in a mudra. When the palms are up, it's chin mudra. If you prefer just to have the fingers gently bent without making the mudra, you can. Chin to the centre, slightly tucked in. Feel the rise and fall of the abdomen as you breathe, not trying to control it at all, just letting it gradually return to a more relaxed rhythm. If it wasn't comfortable to be in Shavasana, you could have one or both knees bent with the soles of the feet on the floor to tilt the small of the back into the floor and make it feel more comfortable. Often Shavasana is hard to do when you first lie down into it if you haven't already warmed up, but of course doing salute to the sun makes you quite warm, so often you can just lie straight down into Shavasana. Okay, we're going to do another quite relaxing one at the moment. So even if the breath hasn't totally slowed down, you will find that it keeps slowing down while you do this. So we're going to do massaging twist. I'll lower the camera in a minute, but you're bending the legs now and having the feet wide, knees wide on the floor. And this will mean that you can gradually twist from side to side without having to cause any stress to the back. So as you breathe in, take the knees to one side, the legs do not have to touch, head goes to the other side. And as you breathe out, come back to this, back to the centre and then out to the other side. And just slowly back and forth about 5 times to each side. And it's always to the side on the out breath. I might have set you wrong there. Back to the centre on the in breath. And of course turning the head gently, just as I mentioned when you were doing Kati Chakrasana earlier on. Always make sure that the neck is comfortable. And now we're going to do another one that starts from approximately the same position. So it is Kandarasana, or Kandarasana if you leave the last A off. So this is an arching one for the back. So it massages as well as arches. In Salute to the Sun, you don't get the massage when you're doing the back bends, but here you do. So palms are on the floor, feet are about hip width apart at the most, right in front of the buttocks, knees the same distance apart as the feet, head to the centre, chin tucked in. As you breathe in, start to tilt the pelvis up towards your head and lift the buttocks up, pushing the feet into the floor. As you breathe out, roll each vertebra down smoothly, one by one, in time with the out breath. And just keep this going for about another 6. Let's do 7. And on the 7th one, if you can stay up there and hold the pose with the head to the centre, of course, stay there for another 7 breaths. So 7, holding the 7th. And of course, if you prefer to just keep going and do 10 or so without holding, you can. But when you're up to number 7, if you can hold for 7 breaths, that just gives you a chance to develop a bit more strength and push a bit further into it. Make the buttocks, lower back, hamstrings work, pushing the hips and the pelvis and the navel up towards the ceiling without overstretching the back of the neck. And once you're down, of course, relax, slide the legs out, or you can keep them bent if you prefer. If you've slid them out, of course, turning the palms up, that's the automatic part of Shavasana. And just a few relaxed breaths there. Letting the breath gradually settle. The pauses in between the postures are very important for assimilating the benefits of the asanas or poses. Just as when you're doing pranayama or breathing practices, the pauses in between the in and the out and the in breath are really the enlightening times where more prana is assimilated. Okay, we're going to do a little bit for the abdomen now, because even though you could be contracting the abdomen in mountain pose during Salute to the Sun, we haven't done any separate abdomen strengthening. So we'll do boat pose. So still lying flat, but bring the legs in together, hands on top of the legs or hips or wherever your arms let them reach to, chin tucked in a little bit, and you're going to be lifting the head and shoulders and the feet into a wide V. Not more than 30 centimeters off the floor. So breathing in, coming up, working the abdomen and the top of the chest, and then out, lowering the legs, shoulders, head. And another 4 of those. And if you find your back doesn't come much off the floor, that's fine. As things get stronger in the front, that will help you lift a bit further off the floor. Part of the back often seems to want to sag onto the floor above the buttocks. Relax the breath for a few breaths. I'm actually going to sit up and make the abdomen work too. So stretch your arms up above the head onto the floor. And you're going to sit up from here. So breathing in, swinging up. You can lift the legs too if you have to. And then out, just lower the arms. Now, Rishi's going to lean back into a high boat now. Do you want to sit back a little bit so we can see it? So you start from the sitting, you lean back a little bit, hopefully not rolling too much of the back down because you're going to be in a high boat. And legs out straight. So coming up with the legs, leaning back with the back a bit. See if you can hold there for a couple of breaths. Very hard to breathe in it. You don't want to hold the breath in for that long. So if you're still holding the breath, let it go and gently come out. And just relax the breath. And lie back down on the floor. And because the abdomen is important to work and also the gastrointestinal area, I'm going to get you to do the cycling pose. So bringing the hands alongside the body, palms down. And you can either have one leg still bent with the foot on the floor while the other leg's cycling, or you can have that leg you're not using out straight, whichever you prefer. Now start with cycling with the right leg. So bending that right knee towards the chest, breathing in, straightening, out, slowly lowering almost to the floor, bend again, breathe in as you straighten, out as you lower, 3 more that way, and then 5 in the reverse direction. Working the knee and the hip really well too, very good for strengthening around those areas. But obviously getting into the abdomen and gastrointestinal area. Same thing on the other side. Everyone works at their own pace. If you don't hear the next instruction, you can automatically go on to the other side if you know that you've got to do that. Or you can take a few relaxed breaths in between while you wait. Ideal for strengthening the abdomen, but it's getting into the gastrointestinal area nicely, and that area does not want to be forgotten because it's very important for your energy to have your digestion and elimination working properly. We always think that our heart and our lungs are ultra important, which they are, but our digestion and elimination are as well. Okay, then you might want to have the hands just slid under the buttocks a little bit, so the palms are still on the mat, backs of the hands against the buttocks, just to support the lower back by tilting it into the floor. And now go with both legs side by side, cycling 5 each way. This is where you'll really feel it benefiting the abdominal muscles. If you do have to rest in between some of them, of course you can put the feet down and take an extra breath. Or if you find you have to do less one way or the other, that is also totally fine. Working at your own level. Don't do anything that you think's not going to be right for you at the moment. I probably should have said that at the beginning, shouldn't I? It's a very individual thing, yoga. If you know that you've got an injury or a part of the body that's unwell or just not working to the level that it should, of course you've got to take more care and sometimes either leave things out or do less of them or adjust them. You can always put something else in its place once you get to know different postures. Okay, and just relaxing again, legs bent or straight, whatever you prefer. Watching the breath. And as I said, this was just going to be quite a short class because I wanted to keep it to within the half hour. And we're going to make more half-hour classes for you to try as well. And you'll find that some days one class will suit you more than another. And of course, as these are videos, you can go back to the ones that suit you best if you want to. So what I'm going to get Rishi to do now is to just roll up into a little bit of half shoulder stand. And if you don't know what half shoulder stand is, it starts from lying on the back. You bend the legs and carefully swing the body up, including the hips, putting the hands on the waist hip area to support you because the elbows take your weight. And I shall move the camera so that you can see Rishi doing this. As you can see, he's got his hands supporting him. His elbows are still on the mat, if I can get them. And he is on an angle. He's not vertical with the legs. And the head has to stay to the center. We've been doing 27 breaths, so I'll just leave him there and let him count his own breath. This is very good for the throat chakra, Vishuddhi chakra. So if you're into using chakra awareness, you can watch the breath in and out through the throat. And sometimes that makes it easier to hold the pose because you're concentrating on the breath and the chakra, and the physical side of it just seems to happen on its own then. Good to have an inversion. We don't tend to do a lot of headstands and handstands in our classes, as most people aren't really ready for them. But of course, if you were used to doing those sorts of postures, you could add those in for yourself. With half shoulder stand, the energy is being drawn up, or it's flowing up really easily from the Manipura chakra, very good storehouse of dynamic physical energy, up to the Vishuddhi. Manipura chakra is a hot energy center. Vishuddhi is a cool energy center. So that energy is being cooled once it gets there. And Rishi, you might want to lie flat, or do you feel like just sitting? It's up to you whether you lie flat or not. But it is said that if you have the head and the heart at the same height for a minute after you have been inverted, then that makes it easier when you swing it back around to your normal position. But for the sake of fitting into half an hour, for those of you who want to lie flat for a while, you can. And for those of you who want to sit up, you can also choose to do that. And just watch the breath. The next time we do a class, we'll do a counter pose for half shoulder stand. We usually use simple fish. If anyone knows that pose and they feel like they need to do it, of course you can do it after you have finished watching this. But we're just going to do a little bit of breathing together, a couple of minutes. And then that will be the end of the class. So sitting comfortably, eyes gently closed. Feel the breath moving in and out through the nostrils. We're going to do a little bit of alternate nostril breathing. Alternate nostril breathing is often the best pranayama practice to start with if you're not used to doing pranayama. It balances the physical and mental energy. It doesn't put the blood pressure up. In fact, it's good for lowering stress. So placing the forefinger and middle finger of the right hand onto the eyebrow center. You can use the other hand if for some reason you can't use the right hand or arm. And you're closing the right nostril with the thumb on the flap, just gently. And take a breath in through the left nostril. Close that left nostril with the ring finger on the flap. Open the right and breathing out softly. It all should be fairly quiet and smooth. And then back in through the right. Closing with the thumb. Open the left nostril and out through the left. That's one round. Keep going with another 4 in your own time. If you're really used to this, you will find that you want to use ratios. The out breath can be anything up to twice as long as the in breath. And I will be doing some pranayama videos at some point to teach you this technique in stages. Keep it comfortable. Never go beyond comfort with pranayama, or else you upset the nervous system. Once you've finished, lower the hand, shoulders relaxed, head to the center, neck comfortable. Watch the breath up and down in both nostrils. Inverted V-shaped breath in through the nostrils, and it meets at the point between the eyebrow center, the Bhumadhya. And then on the out breath, it flows back down the 2 nostrils and out. Feel that happening. The breath is going further than the eyebrow center, but our awareness is focusing there while it finishes its pathway. When you next breathe out, let go of that breath awareness, still sitting quietly, and watch the mind space in behind the forehead. Thoughts, pictures, colours, light, anything at all will pass into that mind space from deeper in the mind. It's the space of consciousness where the mind can present things for you to witness. Always be relaxed, not involved, happy in the darkness, happy with any thoughts, letting them come, letting them go. And we're going to gently withdraw from the mind space. You could spend longer in here watching if you wanted to increase your time of meditation. I'm going to withdraw and just feel the air at the base of the nostrils. The air is cooler when it comes in than when it leaves. Feel the cool air entering at the base, the nostrils. Feel the warm air leaving. Feel the whole body sitting. Whole body sitting tall and comfortable. And Rishi and I have normally finished with 3 ohms out loud. If you're not used to chanting loud ohms, of course, just listen and feel the vibration and silently repeat that sound within yourself. Otherwise, feel free to join in. So taking a big breath in. Hari Om Tat Sat. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed your little class. I'll see you again sometime.